Hi folks, thanks for stopping by today. I thought in today's video we could talk about why we need to have 5 guitar heroes that we look up to as students of the guitar. I think it's a really important concept, and I'll go into details on why I think it is important and why I think folks don't have it anymore. And I thought we could have an interesting discussion. Maybe you could post in the comments below who your guitar heroes are, or if you don't have any, list out maybe what you use for inspiration to keep playing and so forth. As always, I thank you all for your support. I appreciate you watching my videos. Any help you can give me in liking, subscribing, and commenting below really helps out. So I appreciate all the help you've given me. So why do I think we need to have guitar heroes? Well, as we know, we're all students of the guitar, and we all aspire to different things. I've been teaching guitar for a really long time, and I've been playing guitar even longer. And I've learned over the years that we need things to inspire us to keep going in this journey, right? We all have different aspirations or goals. I know people who got to a certain level where they could accompany themselves singing classic rock songs, and they don't care if they learn anything else on the guitar other than playing cover songs of other people's music, strumming along and singing them. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that. Not everybody has to be a virtuoso. I know people that want to be hot shredder lead guitar players. Okay, that's cool. Whatever you do. Some people just want to play at church. Other people pick up the guitar because they want to play around the campfire. Okay, some people it's been a lifelong dream, and when they hit retirement, they want to pursue all these aspects that they never had time to do throughout their life. But so whatever your journey in, it doesn't matter. What does matter is that we need to have inspiration to keep going, because this is a struggle, right? Playing a guitar is extremely difficult to do. It takes a huge amount of time, a ton of repetitions. It's exhausting at times, extremely frustrating at times, very complex at times to understand and internalize. And all of those things make it so there's going to be points where we're burnt out and can't go on. But moreover, what happens is we learn in waves, right? So we start out, when we first start playing, we're learning a lot, so our trajectory is kind of like this, and then we plateau. We can play some chords, we can play a few simple songs, right? And then we have to do something that takes us to the next level. I've come to determine that the longer you're playing, the longer the plateaus are, or some people call those ruts. Okay, so we need things to get out of the ruts that we're in to keep us progressing, going to the next level, whatever progress is in your journey, right? We're all just students of the guitar. Some of us have been at it a little far. We're a little farther along in the journey than others that are maybe just starting out. But we're all just still trying to figure this thing out, right? It's a complex thing. So I always encourage my students to find themselves 5 guitar heroes. And, these are people that you look up to for inspiration, mainly in their music, but it could be if it's someone that you know personally, maybe it's someone that inspires you because of the way that they play. Maybe it's someone in your church group or whatever that you can look up to and find inspiration from. Whatever you draw inspiration from, I encourage you to find that embedded in your life. So when you hit those plateaus, you can listen to these players that inspired you and get inspired and get out of those rut areas. Now, I don't mean by learning their music or learning their songs, okay? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about listening to their music and being inspired to play more and to pick up the guitar again in a more of a deliberate fashion if we're kind of in a rut, just noodling around or not touching it. So I think it's really important to have those folks. I've had 5 since I was a kid. They're relatively the same 5 that I had since I was 13. There was a study that said we don't deviate too far from the music we liked when we were 13 to 16. That always comes back as a staple throughout our lives. And that's probably true of any of the players that I still love were from back in that time. And I don't ever try and learn their music. So for me, if I really like something, I try not to learn it because I want to be able to listen to it for inspiration. If I know how to play it, I go, oh man, I can do that. It's not as impressive if we can do it, right? And we're sick of it by the time it comes up. So I always try and keep that stuff precious so I can put that on and watch a DVD of a concert or whatever and just be like, okay, that's so cool. I want to get back at this, right? And try and find my path and continue on my journey for what I'm trying to accomplish on the instrument. So in that regard, it's really important for us to have those type of inspirations, and it can be anybody. I would challenge you right now to figure out, after this video is done, just get a piece of paper and see if you can list out 5 guitar players, if you play guitar. If you play saxophone, 5 saxophone players. This applies to everything. We're talking about guitar, but see if you can kind of list out 5 and then list what you like about them. You know, maybe it's a tone, maybe it's their note choices, you know, maybe it's their songwriting ability. Whatever it happens to be, list it out and just see what, you put a little thought into it to see what inspiration you would gain from them. The other beauty of this is, by having these people that we look up to and admire and listen to a lot, they're going to be part of our sound. Okay? If you don't have a bunch of people that you're emulating or stealing things from, whether that's a tone or the concept of playing over licks, and I don't mean figuring out songs. I mean kind of picking up on the way they play. You know, if you're into Eric Clapton, he has a certain way he plays. His notes have a certain sound. You know, we can kind of not copy that, but we can incorporate some of that in our own playing, and that helps us come up with our own unique sound, which is something I think is really missing nowadays. Back in the days when you read old, some of these, I'll use the term old, I didn't mean old, but these legacy players, I read a lot of autobiographies, and one thing is they were trying to find an original sound. They didn't want to sound like anybody else. You know, so they were trying to take the gear they had and find out, you know, how can I make this sound like me, and kind of come up with what I'm going for here. And some of those players have such a unique sound, whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter. But you can hear the sound and you go, oh, that's Carlos Santana, or oh, that's Eric Johnson, or oh, that's Robin Ford. And, you know, contrary to popular belief, it's not the gear, okay? It's in their hands. And it's just the culmination of all the stuff they liked put into their body, and it's a potpourri, and then they regurgitate out those components, and now they have their own unique sound. And with the way things are now, we all are looking for plugins or, you know, amp settings or whatever that are right there. And we never really go past whatever the presets are, you know, because it takes too much time, or it's too much of a learning curve, or whatever it happens to be. And we just plug in and get with whatever the thing is instead of trying to get a new sound of our own. So that's where having these heroes can be really advantageous as well, to helping you forge your own sound on the instrument and come up with your own voice. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be a parrot, okay? But I'm not using that in a derogatory way, but that would be someone that's just copying Eruption note for note and playing it back, and people go, oh, that sounds just like a... That's never really been interesting to me. I like the creative element of music and the art is art kind of thing. To me, the cover stuff's already been done, so unless it's a unique spin on a cover song, I'm generally not interested in it. Now, there's some amazing covers of some songs that are, I think, better than the originals, right? And that's a whole art form of its own, in that you had to take something you already heard and recreate it into something different, which is a different way to go to. But I'd be curious to see what you think, who the players are that you look up to, and why. Why do you like the players that you like? In any genre, it doesn't matter what it is. And maybe some people can see in the comments, if you list that out, they'll go, oh, I never heard this player, let me go check him out. You know, I did a while back a little video on Guitar Player magazine stopping publication, and one of the great things about that magazine was every month there was people I had never heard of in there before. Well, we have access to more information now, but that stuff isn't being fed to folks anymore, so they don't generally come across it anymore, you know, unless they searched it out or stumbled on it on TikTok or something like that. You know, and there's a lot of amazing players that aren't on TikTok, so or any of these social media kind of things. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to hear the discussion that we can get going on this. As always, thank you so much for watching, and you have a fantastic day.